If you spend any good amount of time with me on this channel, you will clearly see that I'm coming after your millions of years. And this is not some religious channel here. This is nothing scheming here to sell Jesus to lost people, though that could easily be gathered by some of the things I say on this channel, to be sure. So instead of getting myself stuck in some religious zealot checkbox, the purpose of my channel is to expose the various, what I would call, theory facts that I believe we, at least as Americans, we accept without question as better than gospel truth. I think that we see articles in passing, whatever, we see the word science next to these articles or whatever, and most of us, if we're honest, we don't have a in-depth understanding of what we see on the evening news. We just don't. Some people like myself have spent some time and do have an understanding of some of these topics and a pretty deep understanding on some of them. One of those topics worth discussing for this issue of deep time and millions of years is this well-known Urey Miller experiment that I remember being taught in high school. You may remember as well. This experiment is still taught, to my knowledge, to this day in high school curriculum. This experiment supposedly was able to generate some of the amino acids that would lead to the proteins ultimately that are the building blocks of life, supposedly. And this Urey Miller experiment, what they did was they set up their apparatus, their chemical compounds, whatever they did with their 1.21 gigawatts of electricity to get the whole thing gigawatting, whatever it does. But in order to make the experiment even begin forming its amino acids, what they had to do is remove the oxygen from the entire setup, because oxygen does what it does. It oxidizes. So removing the oxygen from the entire experiment, and they got whatever their broken down things, there wasn't much really. But the fact that they had to remove all the oxygen from the experiment is completely fraudulent, because right now we're sitting at around 21% oxygen concentration in the atmosphere. That alone, it would have destroyed their experiment and nothing would have been produced. Now, the thing is, Earth oxygen today, being around 21%, is not what it used to be. Science, real academia, has been able to extract amber samples, and these amber samples contain oxygen bubbles, and this will come up later for other videos for sure. Amber, you know the stuff, it looks like rosin you put on your bow, or looks like hard maple syrup. But this stuff is old, ancient tree sap, and it contains oxygen, and the oxygen in there proves to be upwards of 50%. As far as we know, it could have been darn near 100%. The building blocks of life out of what would have supposedly had been an environment similar to what it would have been on Earth at that time. It's just not realistic.